You're finally awake.
Welcome to MojoPlays, where we'll be doing an overview of all the major lore and plot in the Elder Scrolls franchise.
I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking eye may see.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
We'll be skipping over spin-offs and less significant tales such as minor DLCs. The scope of the series' lore is unparalleled in gaming. It would take days to cover everything. Its history is separated into 6 eras, with the main games happening in the final 2. Most of it's told via in-game books and dialogue, making it tedious to find while playing. Thankfully, we've got you covered, so without further ado, let's dig into the Dawn era, the First Era.
Have you ever seen such creatures? Raz has not.
The series' home planet is Nirn on the continent of Tamriel. Their cosmology includes 3 primary realms. First is Mundus, the mortal realm, hosting Nirn, the moons, and stars. Secondly, there's Aetherius, the plane of magic and divinity, home to the Aedra, also known as the mortal gods. Finally, there's Oblivion, the chaotic void between Mundus and Aetherius, home of the Daedra. Initially, Anu and Padme, order and chaos emerged. Their interplay created Orbis, the totality of existence. Within Orbis, divine spirits arose, the ancestors of the gods and mortal souls. From here, there are multiple creation myths, but we'll only focus on 3. The elves believe the Aedra were tricked by Lorkhan into creating Mundus, losing most of their power in the process.
You put it full stop! This is the end.
The humans instead consider Lorkhan as a hero who sacrificed himself to give Mundus to mortals. Finally, there's the Anuad, an elven text that says Lorkhan created Mundus with the help from fellow deities. Those who helped became the Aedra, and those who refused became the Daedra. Regardless of myth, they all agree that Lorkhan was central. Also, the Aedra all became weaker after Nirn's conception. During this era, the ancestors of elves and men lived on Nirn, along with beastfolk like the Khajiit and Argonians. The Dawn era ended with Lorkhan getting punished by other gods. His heart was ripped out, and it became a source of divine power. It created the island of Vardenfell, with Red Mountain on top. The gods finally leave Nirn for good, thus ushering in the new era, the Merethic era. This is a prehistorical era with loose dates lasting approximately 2,500 years. During this time, elven culture spread across Tamriel. The Aldmer colonized the Somerset Isles, and the other elven races, namely the Dwemer, Chimer, Bosmer, and Falmer, splinter off. Importantly, the elven settlers in Cyrodiil became the Ayleids. Men also migrate into Tamriel, sailing from Atmora, a continent north of Tamriel. Except for Redguards, they come from the western isles of Yakuta.
Ah. Well, I'm Redguard, as I'm sure you've noticed.
Midway through the era, the prophet Veloth leads his Chimer kin from the Somerset Isles to Morrowind. Aldmer tried to stop them, but Daedric Prince Botia stepped in, consuming their elder. From his remnants, the Daedric Prince Malakath appeared. Malakath's followers were also transformed, and thus began the Orcish race.
You dare come here to the shrine of our Lord? You are not one of us.
Later in the era, tensions between humans in Skyrim and the elven races reached a boiling point. This led to the Night of Tears, where elven forces burned Sarthal, Skyrim's first human city. Humanity's leader, Ysgramor, fought back and won, claiming Skyrim for his people, who later became Nords. One final major event was the Dragon War. Humans at the time praised dragons who ruled over them. Eventually, their leader Alduin became so cruel that mankind revolted. They were unable to destroy the dragons, so instead banished Alduin from time itself. It was done with an Elder Scroll, but it was only temporary. The era concluded with the founding of the Cameron dynasty in Valenwood, which would rule the region's Bosmer for centuries. Now we finally reach the First Era, where elven rule declined in favor of human empires.
Dragging people off in the middle of the night. One of the main causes of this war, if you ask me.
First came the Nord Empire in Skyrim, with Windhelm at its heart. South, in the jungle province of Cyrodiil, the Ayleid rule supreme for now. They kept humans as slaves, using them to build grand structures like the White Gold Tower at the center of Cyrodiil. 243 years into the era, the slaves revolted, led by the slave queen Alessia. They succeeded and formed a new kingdom for humans, the Alessian Empire. Alessia also founded a new religion, the Eight Divines, which is still practiced in Tamriel. Upon her death, the god Akatosh confined her soul to the Amulet of Kings.
Welcome your soul in
The amulet became hugely important as it protects Tamriel from the Plane of Oblivion, but if it's lost, then the planet becomes vulnerable. After around 2,000 years, the War of Righteousness, a rebellion against the Alessian Order's rule, caused the Empire to splinter. 400 years later, and Remen unified Cyrodiil once more, founding the Remen Empire. He united them against a common enemy, the Akaviri, foreign invaders from an eastern continent. Instead of driving them away, he absorbed them into his empire. His empire then conquered most of Tamriel except for Morrowind. They tried in an invasion known as the Fourscore War, which ended when the Morang Tong, a guild of assassins, killed King Remen III. With his death, the Second Era began. We haven't yet discussed the First Era's most important event, the War of the First Council. By the year 1 E700, the Dwemer called Vardenfell, Morrowind's central island, home. They'd spread across the northern provinces, settling deep underground, building huge metropolises. The Chimer also called Morrowind home, moving in after a long exodus from the Somerset Isles. Tensions rose when a Dwemer leader, Lord Khagranach, tried to ascend to godhood. He created Khagranach's tools, which could tap into the heart of Lorkhan's divine power. They discovered it deep within Red Mountain, but soon after, their Chimer neighbors learned of the plan. Chimer Lord Dagoth discovered it, then told his ruler, Nerevar. Lord Nerevar led his people into a war against the Dwemer. Alongside him were the Tribunal, his wife Almalexia, Lord Sothasil, and Lord Vivek, who will become very important later. It concluded with the Battle of Red Mountain, where the Dwemer mysteriously vanished without a trace. It's believed that they were either destroyed or transported to another dimension, achieving the godhood they deeply desired, but no one knows for certain. Things get quite confusing here since the battle has multiple conflicting accounts. What we know for certain is that Nerevar died shortly afterwards in suspicious circumstances. Before dying, the Tribunal secretly used the heart to gain powers against Nerevar's wishes. Dagoth felt betrayed, arguing the heart should belong to the Chimer, so he took the power for himself. They presumed he was dead, but he was lying dormant, slowly being corrupted by the heart while also gaining power. The Tribunal became the gods of Morrowind, ruling for millennia. Their decision to ascend angered Adric goddess Azura, who cursed the Chimer, darkening their skin, transforming them from the Chimer into a new race, the Dwemer.
Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
Now for the Second Era, which began with the fall of Alessian's empire. The era is characterized by chaos and fragmentation, which you'll know if you've played the Elder Scrolls Online. After Remen III's death, the Akaviri Potentiate took control over the Second Empire. Before, they were simply Akaviri advisors, but they took charge and declared martial law. After ruling for 4 centuries, their emperor was assassinated, ending the empire's dominance, beginning the imperial interregnum. The Second Empire survived as a rump state in Cyrodiil, dominated by warlords. Outside of Cyrodiil, the continent experienced varying levels of chaos. 3 major factions formed, all vying for control of the imperial city's ruby throne. In the southwest was the Aldmeri Dominion, aiming to restore elven rule to Tamriel. They were the High Elves, the Wood Elves, and the Khajiit.
Such anger! Raz never expected to hear such words from the Queen's loyal subjects.
In the northwest, the Bretons, Redguards, and Orcs formed the Daggerfall Covenant, hoping to restore the Second Empire. Finally, there was the Ebonheart Pact, a coalition of Nords, Dark Elves, and Argonians formed out of necessity, with their only common interest being survival. Finally, we've made it to the Elder Scrolls Online's primary plotline.
As the Imperial throne lies empty, the scent of war swirls in the air.
Cyrodiil's Empress Clivia Tharn became militarily aggressive, which began the Three Banners War. Each empire aimed to claim Cyrodiil's capital and dominate the continent. Ultimately, no alliance canonically wins, meaning it's still unresolved in the game's timeline. While this is happening, Molag Bal, the Daedric Prince of Domination and Enslavement, is trying to fuse his realm, Cold Harbor, with Nirn. He abducts numerous mortal souls, including the players, who'd later be known as the Vestige. This invasion was the Plane Meld, similar in scale to the later Oblivion Crisis. The Vestige allies with a group called the Five Companions, who banish Molag Bal. He'd need thousands of years to recover his power, explaining why in Skyrim all he does is ask the Dragonborn to fight a priest.
I want submission. I want the priest who did this to bend his knee and give me his soul.
So we don't know who won the Three Banners War, but we do know that Tyber Septim united Tamriel at the end of the Second Era. Originally known as Hjalti Earlybeard, or Talos depending on your faith, he served King Kulakan and his general. Kulakan was the ruler of Kolovia, a petty kingdom in western Cyrodiil. He wanted to unify Tamriel, like many others, and began the Tyber War to do so. It didn't take long before he captured the imperial city, but before he could crown himself emperor, he was assassinated. So, they crowned Hjalti Earlybeard instead, who changed his name to Tyber Septim. In the following decade, he unified the continent, forging the Third Empire. One crucial moment was when Skyrim and High Rock retaliated against Septim. When the Nords realized he was a Dragonborn, possessing a mighty Thoum, or Dragon Shout, they flocked to his banners. When unification was completed, Septim began the Third Age. His rule was considered a golden age, bringing peace and prosperity to the continent. The most fascinating thing about Septim was that he achieved Kim. This is when a mortal achieves a higher state of being, similar in power level to the Dawn Era's god. It's confusing, but it's basically the realization that you are both a part of the universe and separate from it.
At long last, you have freed me.
Those who achieve Kim can manipulate reality, which Septim used to transform Cyrodiil from a jungle into a temperate and more habitable environment. This change confusingly affects all of time, hence why Cyrodiil isn't a jungle in the Elder Scrolls Online. After his death, Tyber became a god, with the 8 divines becoming the 9.
We have fulfilled our last duty. We go now to Aetherius without shame.
Now we've made our way to Arena, released in 1994. It's set on the entire continent, set over 300 years after Tyber Septim's death. Now, Uriel Septim VII is Emperor. You might know him best from Oblivion's intro, where he's voiced by Sir Patrick Stewart.
Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams.
The plot starts when Septim's battle mage Jaeger Tharn traps the Emperor in an alternate dimension. Tharn then took the throne by disguising himself as the Emperor. Magician Rhea Silmain witnesses the coup, but Tharn realizes and murders her. After death, she magically tells an imprisoned hero, the player, to escape the dungeon and stop Tharn. Thus begins the cycle of imprisoned heroes saving Tamriel from ruin. The hero must then embark on an adventure to assemble a staff fragmented across the continent. When completed, at the Imperial City, they combined the staff with the Jewel of Fire. Tharn's life force was contained in the jewel, which exploded along with the staff, killing Tharn but saving the Emperor. The world is saved, with the hero going down in history as the eternal champion. The second game, Daggerfall, is impressive for having a game world roughly the size of Great Britain. It was released in 1996 and is set in the Iliac Bay, between High Rock and Hammerfell. It begins with Uriel Septim VII sending the hero on a mission to free the ghost of the King of Daggerfall.
For tomorrow you sail for the kingdom of Daggerfall.
His ghost has been wreaking havoc upon the kingdom, and he's angered that he was murdered. His widow asks the hero to investigate. Eventually, the investigation leads the player to the Mantella. This powerful artifact is essential to unlocking the Numidian, a Dwemer colossus. It was created by Kagranach, but was only ever used once by Tyber Septim during his conquests. Afterwards, it was destroyed, but now in Daggerfall, it's being rebuilt. This leads to the warp in the west, also known as a dragon break. That's when time itself fractures, causing multiple contradictory events to occur simultaneously, a cool way to have multiple endings. The game ends with the player deciding the Mantella's fate. Ultimately, the player decides who controls the Iliac Bay, depending on who they align with. This means there's no canon ending, and later games have not revisited the region. Wake up, we're here.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Why are you shaking? Is it because you're eager to finally see what happens to Morrowind after the Battle of Red Mountain? Thankfully, the third game from 2002 explains that and more. Since the Tribunal rose to power, Morrowind has been home to the Dwemer. Almost 2,000 years have passed since the Dwemer's disappearance, and in that time, the Tribunal's power has decreased significantly. Additionally, there's a new blight devastating Vardenfell with a cause unknown. Prophecies say the Lord Nerevar will return as the Nerevarin, and they will defeat Dagoth Ur, exposing the Tribunal's betrayal and restore the Dwemer's true faith. The player takes the role of an outlander, a foreign fresh on the shores of Vardenfell.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
They are ordered to join the Blades, the Emperor's secret service. After a few tasks, the player becomes trusted to learn that the Emperor believes they're the Nerevarine. To fulfill the prophecy, they must earn the trust of the nomadic Dwemer, the Ashlanders. Along the way, they learn Dagoth is regaining his strength and he's causing the Blight.
Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
To defeat him, the Nerevarine must find the Dwemer tools Sunder and Keening, built to exploit the heart of Lorkhan. This task brings the Nerevarine into a meeting with the final Dwemer, Yagrum Bagern. Unfortunately, he has no idea what happened to his kin, also the tools can harm the user. This is solved when false god Vivek gifts Wraithguard to Nerevarine, allowing them to use Kagranak's tools safely. The game concludes in Red Mountain, climaxing with a battle with Dagoth. He tries to convince the Nerevarine to join his side, but they're unconvinced, so they destroy the heart and Dagoth with it. In the expansion Tribunal, the Nerevarine visits the capital city Mournhold. They become involved with Almalexia, who is losing her sanity after the heart's destruction. She tasks the Nerevarine with stopping Sothasil, claiming he's betrayed her. Turns out, Almalexia already killed him. After an epic battle, the Nerevarine defeats Almalexia, leaving Vivek as the final member of the Tribunal. Roughly a decade later, Vivek disappears. In his absence, Bardau, the meteor he held in place above Vivek City, crashes into the ground. This triggered the eruption of Red Mountain and Vardenfell was decimated. 6 years after Morrowind, Uriel Septim VII is assassinated by a cult in the Intro to Oblivion from 2006.
Stranger, you chose a bad day to take up with the calls of
Die, scum!
Worshippers of the Daedric god Mehrunes Dagon, known as the Mythic Dawn, are responsible. Before dying, the player, later known as the Hero of Kavach, is entrusted with Uriel's Amulet of Kings. The hero must take it to his final heir, Martin Septim, played by Sean Bean.
Emperor Uriel Septim? You think the Emperor is my father? No, you must have the wrong man. I am a priest of Akatosh. My father was a farmer.
With the Emperor dead, the mortal world is unprotected from Daedric invasion. Oblivion gates open across Tamriel, and Mehrunes Dagon's forces try to invade the whole continent. Martin is initially reluctant, but after some convincing, accepts his destiny. To stop the crisis, the dragon fires must be lit, resealing the barrier between Tamriel and Oblivion. In the climax, Dagon appears in the Imperial City, but Martin saves the day using the Amulet of Kings to become the avatar of Akatosh, the dragon god of time. He loses his life, but ends the invasion, banishing Dagon. With the crisis over, the Fourth Era begins.
The fate of the Empire. These things now belong to you.
Skyrim is the only game set in the Fourth Era, originally released in 2011, then again in 2016, 2017, and 2021. It focuses on two major plotlines, the nation's civil war and the return of dragons. The Imperial Legion and the Stormcloaks are fighting to determine whether Skyrim is independent or an imperial state. You begin the game as a prisoner, as is traditional, doomed for execution. The ancient dragon Alduin appears, derailing the execution, allowing you to escape in the chaos.
This way!
It turns out the player is the Dragonborn, a mortal with the soul and voice of a dragon. The Greybeards, masters of dragon shouts, summon the Dragonborn to their mountain temple. They teach them the Thu'um, or the shout. As the story progresses, the Dragonborn discovers they need an Elder Scroll to learn the ancient shout that banished Alduin the first time. After doing so, they travel to Sovngarde, the Nord's afterlife. With the help of ancient heroes, they finally defeat Alduin together, ending the Age of Dragons once and for all. What region would you love to see in the next game, and do you have any ideas for what you'd like it to focus on? Whether that's an Akaviri invasion or an all-out war with the High Elves, leave it in the comments below.
I'll look for you, friend, when at last you return to Shaw's Hall. The honor will be ours when you rejoin the ranks of Sovngarde.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.